I think it looks like someone doing this, but that is a personal opinion. Hi guys, welcome back to the Turismo Diaries. Before we get on with today's video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on today's video. Usually I'd be stood outside with today's car in the background, but unfortunately we are being held hostage by today's weather. It is pouring down with rain, and worse over, it is very windy, so to hold a camera outside with a microphone just won't work today. So we are inside today's car, which is a 2006 BMW Z4 Coupe. By the time the coupe version of the Z4 was released in 2006, the Roadster variant had been with us for around 4 years, where it replaced the previous Z3 back in 2002. The Z4 was designed by a chap called Andres Warming, who was a Danish car designer, and I think with this car he's captured again the essence of BMW very well, using references to the historical cars and also to move it away from the Z3. As for the exterior design, starting with the front, with the release of the coupe in 2006, it also incorporated some of the facelift changes that came with the model overall. These include de-ambering of the headlights, de-ambering of the rear tail lights, and then a much sharper front bumper. At the front we've got this large bonnet which feels like it extends very far beyond the driving position. Moving down the side, you've got the belt line, which is reminiscent of the 507 Roadster, which the line then fades towards the door handle. And you've also got this line that runs, is a continuation of the roof down, and it cuts through the BMW emblem, which is also a cap almost for the indicators. To the rear you have the lights, which again are very similar to the Z4 before the facelift, although with the ambers removed it looks a much cleaner design. On the roof you've got this double bubble shape, which provides more headroom internally, as well as providing more aerodynamics for better stability of the car. And then with the fastback feature, that continues down into a boot lid with an integrated spoiler, which again provides better aerodynamics over the rear axle. The boot is probably bigger than you'd expect. It's about 1.5 cubic feet bigger than the Roadster, but don't be looking to transport any chest of drawers anytime soon. It's also where the battery is kept, so it's very similar to the way that the Z3 was configured. Under the hood we have a 3-litre engine, which is the only engine size available on the standard Z4 coupes. It either came with a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic gearbox. In this particular car it has the 6-speed automatic, which I think suits it quite well. The engine produces 225 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 can be achieved in around 5.9 seconds, with the top speed limited to 155 miles an hour. As for the interior, on this particular car we've got red leather seats with the red leather continued onto the door cards. It has a gloss black dash finish. Sort of makes me feel like I'm inside of Michael Jackson's jacket from the Thriller video. I've got window controls on the door. I've got a cup holder just inside the door, which is very handy in a very good location, and the passenger has one on the same side. We have the headlight controls just behind the steering wheel, the dials, which are possibly a little bit too small, and they're very deep set back. It's not something I like when with dials. I like them to be forward and very clear. Got the radio controls up high, and then the climate controls further down below it. It's very nice, and it feels, with the tall roof, it feels quite spacious in here. It does feel like you're cocooned in. It is a Roadster after all, so it feels spacious on these above your head, but again you do feel very close, and it feels big around you. The dash is deep, the bonnet is deep, so it does feel quite big, and it's disproportionate, I'd say, whereas an MX-5 feels proportionate and small all the way through. This feels like a big car that's been squashed down to be a Roadster, almost like they've taken a Ferrari FF and just condensed it. Right, so I suppose what's left to do is to take it for a drive. Okay, windscreen wipers on, fortunately, although it does look to be getting better. even though it is a roadster and you are sat quite low, it does have electronically adjustable seats, so you can raise yourself up to give you a bit more of a vantage point over that huge bonnet. It has brake discs all round, so braking is very good and responsive. In addition to ABS, traction control and stability control, it does feel very safe and very planted to the road. The steering is responsive. Personally, I don't feel like it is the kind of car you would take on a track. It does feel more of a cruiser. That's the way I would use the car. If I was wanting something more track focused, I'd look towards perhaps an older GT86 or something along those lines. Road tax on this car is £325 for the year, and MPG is surprisingly good at around 32 miles per gallon, so it doesn't really write it off as a daily user. I think it's special enough that you could either have it as a weekend car, but I think it's also very usable as a daily. Some of the things I don't like about the car, and there are only two things, and that includes the way the front looks. I think it looks like someone doing this, but that is a personal opinion. And the other thing are the climate control controls. The way that they are almost vertical, tilted away from you, make it very difficult to make adjustments to them whilst you're driving along. If you're on your own, at least, until you get used to what you're fiddling around with, you really have to look at what they are. They're not faced upright, so they look quite dark, and they're tilted away from you. So that's just a small gripe. Things I like about the car include its motorsport heritage. I say heritage from about 10 years ago, where it was very competitive in the Brit Car 24-hour series. I believe it won that race, and then in the Super Endurance series and the Japanese Super Touring Car series, it was also very competitive. That moves me on to the other thing I like, and it's the thickness of this steering wheel. It feels like a motor racing car, which is nice, because with that in mind, you get an idea of how the driver was sat and what the driver was feeling as he was racing. Another thing I like about the car is there's quite a lot of storage. Not overly big storage, but there are compartments for various items, like your phone, glasses. If you're on a long trip, you can put like road maps or something in there. But my favourite thing about the car is its rarity. For every 11 Roadsters that were built, only one Coupe was built, so it makes it a very exclusive car. You'd almost be mistaken for a BMW enthusiast perhaps if you drove one of these around. Overall, I really like the fastback look of the Z4. I much prefer it over the Roadster. I think it makes it feel special, and it is based on its rarity. I say apart from the front end, overall I'm fairly happy with the way the car looks. With the smoked alloy wheels being 18-inch alloy wheels, it makes a nice contrast, especially against the red leather interior and the black gloss dash. With these kinds of cars, you do want them to feel special, and I think they often get let down by when people choose bland colours like black on black, silver with a black interior. Having this nice red interior is going to make it feel like a bit of an event every time you get into it, especially if you're using it just on the weekends. If you want to find out more, head on over to Sterling Car Sales. I'll drop a link in the description below where this car is currently for sale. Well guys, that's it for today's video. We managed to get through it. The weather has now just got better, which is unfortunate, sod's law almost. But if you've enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, share it with people that are potentially looking to buy a Z4 Coupe, or maybe not, maybe put it forward to them as an option. So until next time, take it easy, and I will see you on the next video.